Welcome to this week's Outside the Huddle, brought to you by Southwest Bank. Robert Giovanetti along with Texas Tech head coach Cliff Kingsbury. Coach, you like the way these last couple weeks your team has responded from the loss at Arizona State?
I do. I think we've gotten better. I thought last week defensively we handled ourselves much better, handled adversity, did some great things. Offensively, special teams weren't very good, but it's encouraging to win a conference game by that margin and have 2 out of your 3 phases not play very good. So I think moving forward we can build off that.
You know, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, you guys scored 55 points and you say, yeah, you're unhappy. But when your offense gets rolling, I mean, as we saw in the second half, pretty efficient.
It can be, and that's our expectation. We're not going to settle for being average. If we're squandering drives because of turnovers or penalties, we're not going to accept that this year. And our guys have taken ownership of that offensively, and we know we have to play better. And then special teams, I think our coverage units have been fantastic. Haven't had a lot of chance for returns, but our kickers, our punters have to play a lot better.
Offensively, Nick Shimonette comes in and throws 4 touchdown passes. Is this a great lesson? Hey, you got to be ready. Your number could be called at any time.
It is, and it's a great lesson for our team to see the guy who works harder than anybody in that building is up here all summer lifting weights, watching film, studying his playbook. When he had his time, he was ready, and that's it was a great teaching point for me with our team.
I mean, I know he's ready, but you kind of get a little lurch too going, I guess we'll find out right here if he's good to go.
Well, he came up to me because I guess I was looking a little nervous and said, hey, Coach, I got it. I don't know why you're so nervous. And sure enough, he did. He went out there and cut it loose and played like he'd been playing all season. And I see it every day in practice, but it's good to see it out there under the lights.
You mentioned special teams just a bit ago, and you were really frustrated Thursday after special teams. What can you really do in that point for them? Does it become more mental than anything else for those guys?
It does, particularly when you see it done well in practice. And I know Coach Rob is phenomenal at what he does, and he has it all schemed up, but we got to kick the ball where he tells him to kick it, and we got to put it through the uprights. And if we can't do that, we'll have to find somebody that can.
You guys hit the road, your second road game of the season at Kansas State. What's it like playing up there? Obviously, any time in the Big 12 is tough.
It is, and they do a great job with their home field atmosphere. Great fans, loud, get there early, stay late, stay the entire game, and so it'll be a good challenge for us.
Is this a typical Kansas State team where you talked a little bit about that earlier? They don't make a lot of mistakes to hurt themselves.
They don't. You have to beat them, and that's the trademark of a Bill Snyder team is that they're going to be well coached, be disciplined, be where they ought to be, and you have to defeat them. They're not going to beat themselves. What
we saw defensively against Kansas, we hope that it carries over obviously this week. Give you some encouragement that, hey, these guys, you got some young guys over there on that side of the ball, and they're starting to get it a little bit?
I thought just the way they handled anytime there was adversity, they stood up. We talked about beginning of the second half going out there and getting a stop and getting us the ball back, and they did. And there are other moments where when we needed them to stand up, they did and made big plays, and that's something we can build off of.
After basically 1 week in the Big 12, you guys are as good as anybody, right? 1-0, a lot to play for this team. Do you see this league being maybe as wide open as it's ever been?
It appears that way. There's a lot of teams that are right there trying to figure out who's really the top dog, I guess, and so this will shake out as we get going, but you got to focus on each week one at a time and see if we can keep this thing rolling.
That's Coach Cliff Kingsbury. This has been Outside the Huddle. Thanks to Southwest Bank.